This is now the first video I took of the crew leaving. I think Ed thought he was going back to Hawaii. So he took his shirt with him. It's a strange moment to close the hatch. At this point, Sasha and I now were alone for the next 6 months together, and we both looked at each other. And he said to me, "Is it scary for you?" And I went, "Is it scary for you?" And these are views taken by the cameras on the SSRMS, looking at us as we conducted the EVA.
Бортовой.
На тех организаторах, которые пришли на корабле, там прикреплен.
Да, да.
Okay, now we're getting ready for the Discovery's arrival, and we're unpacking all the stuff that was stored in PMA-2, moving into PMA-3. This is part of the shuffle we have to do now and then, moving big things to make room for other things. And here's the famous rendezvous pitch maneuver, sped up 5 times. We're taking pictures of this. We're over Western Europe as the shuttle does this 180-degree flip, or 360-degree flip. The movie's only going to show you the first 180 degrees. But in fact, it was a full 360 flip, and we're shooting pictures like crazy, as you'll see in the next scene, and you'll hear the Capcom's voice in the next scene as well.
Sure, yeah, that's affirmed. They're probably about 10 degrees through the pitch right now.
And here we are welcoming the crew of the Discovery. There's Steve Robinson, Eileen, and Suichi.
We're maneuvering the logistics module up out of the shuttle payload bay to install it on the node nadir port on the station. We install it and then ungrapple and maneuver the shuttle arm, the station arm away, for that operation.
That dock time came to an end, as I said, successfully, and we said our farewells and returned the Discovery crew safely home to Earth with, again, Tomas joining us, changing the whole dynamic, I think, both on board the station as well as on the ground with the arrival of Tomas Ryder. It was very real change as well as symbolic change, I think, for the entire program. With 3 of us working on board here, working in the service module, Pavel working on the Electron, which it seemed like he was always doing, and me doing a little work on TVIS there. Again, a crowd on space station. We had a great time with both shuttle crews. There you see that big truss element that was added to the port side of the space station. It included another set of solar arrays, adding the ability to produce power to support future assembly, eventually bringing up the international partner laboratory modules and getting to a bigger crew size and getting the space station up to its full potential as a research platform. Also making the space station, I'm sure, much more visible from the ground with the deployment of these fascinating arrays.
Yeah, this was a culmination of the Boston Marathon. It was pretty fun at some times and not so fun at other times. As a result of that, we also did some maintenance up there, particularly on the TVIS. And this is we did maintenance during Expedition 14 and then later on Expedition 15.
This is moving an entire rack, which I don't know how much it weighs, but several hundred pounds, and you could probably see there were a lot of signatures on the back of the folks who put that rack together.
This footage here was from 116, STS-116, when the Space Shuttle Discovery came up, and during that time frame we retracted a solar array. It gave us a little bit of problem. We created a little bit of a shaking necessity to try to get that guy in, but we finally got in, and that paved the way for 117, STS-117 to work pretty well.
We are actually unberthing the S5 element, which is a small truss piece. S5 was taken from the shuttle arm to the station arm, and then in a coordinated event, we actually have to have it in position before EV crew members get out the door.
The space station robotic arm now in motion again to move Harmony up to the port side of the International Space Station to pause before installation on the Unity node.
Station's the right word, but that's pretty amazing. That's pretty cool. When I came through here, there wasn't a node here.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here on this very beautiful piece of hardware. Of course, it was built in Europe, in Italy. I'd like to thank everybody that has worked hard in making this possible and allowing the space station to be built even further and preparing the place for the Columbus laboratory, the European laboratory, and the Japanese laboratory.
Peggy and I flew the arm to mate the PMA over to the Node 2 in its temporary location, and then a couple days later we got to move that whole Node 2 PMA 2 back over onto the lab, and again the robotics worked fantastic. The training and the support was terrific, as was the CBM training and mechanism. So everything works smoothly, and again the view is just outstanding on the monitors. It's hard to concentrate on flying with such beautiful views on the monitors.
Okay, so thanks to the great work which had been done at the beginning of the expedition, we were able to launch the 122 mission, the shuttle Atlantis, bringing the European module Columbus towards the station. Everything went well for the during that mission, 122 mission, and we see here the first ingress of the European module Columbus and the outfitting of the module, which looks still very clean.
A few days ago during the EVA, I grabbed the high-def camera and I thought I'd shoot from end to end, and since I had a little bit of a break. So I went up to the flight deck, and there was Dex running the EVA with Rex and Hans outside doing an EVA. I could see him out the window. It was incredibly cool. Came back through the mid-deck. I passed the robotic workstation, and there's Leland and Leo running the arm. And then I passed through the Node 1, and Peggy is working out on the exercise equipment, and I go to the SM, and Yuri's doing a science experiment. So we were doing robotics, EVA, exercise, and science all at the same time. And I was goofing off, taking the movies. But we were doing all of those at the same time in space, which is exactly like those movies they used to show you about 25 years ago about how we're going to live in space. It was almost like a promotional video, and it was phenomenal. And I thought, we're almost there.
This is the installation of the JLP, the logistics modules of the Japanese segment.